In the quiet sands of an ancient Egyptian tomb, archaeologists unearthed a peculiar artifact, a stone tablet etched with intricate symbols, unlike anything they had ever seen. These were not mere decorations, they were a message, a language believed to bridge the mortal world and the realm of the divine. Across countless civilizations, from the pyramids of Egypt to the temples of Mesoamerica, humanity has sought ways to communicate with forces beyond our understanding. Divine symbols became that universal language, a way to speak to gods, spirits, and the cosmos itself. But what do these symbols truly mean? How do they shape the beliefs, rituals, and destinies of ancient cultures? And why do their mysteries still captivate us today? In this video, we'll unravel the origins, meanings, and enduring enigmas of these sacred symbols, exploring how they forged a profound connection between humanity and the divine. Join us as we decode the secrets of antiquity and uncover the timeless power of symbols that once spoke to the heavens. Long before the pyramids rose from the desert sands or the first temples were carved into stone, humanity was already reaching out to the unknown. Deep within the shadowy recesses of caves and etched into the surfaces of ancient rocks, the earliest divine symbols began to emerge. These marks, crude yet profound, were humanity's first attempts to make sense of the world around them, to give form to the forces they could not see but could feel. Take, for instance, the Lascaux caves in France. Here, over 17,000 years ago, early humans painted vivid scenes of animals, hunters, and mysterious abstract shapes. These images were more than just art, they were a language of the sacred. Some scholars believe the animals symbolized spiritual guardians or totems, while the abstract symbols might have represented cosmic forces or rituals to ensure a successful hunt. Similarly, the Venus figurines, small, exaggerated statues of female forms found across Europe, hint at a deep reverence for fertility, life, and perhaps even a mother goddess figure. But why did these early humans feel compelled to create such symbols? For them, the world was alive with unseen powers. The sun, the moon, the wind, all were manifestations of divine energy. By crafting symbols, they sought to connect with these forces, to influence them, or perhaps simply to understand them. Over time, as human societies grew more complex, so too did their symbols. What began as simple carvings and paintings evolved into intricate systems of meaning, eventually forming the foundation of organized religion. As we move forward in history, we'll see how these primal symbols laid the groundwork for the majestic temples, sacred texts, and rituals that would come to define civilizations. But for now, let's pause to marvel at the ingenuity and spiritual yearning of our ancestors, who, with nothing more than pigments and stone, began a conversation with the divine that continues to echo through the ages. In the fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers flowed, humanity's earliest civilizations began to craft a language of the divine. Here, in the land of Sumer and Babylon, symbols became more than just marks on clay. They were sacred tools, a bridge between the mortal world and the heavens. Cuneiform, the wedge-shaped script pressed into wet clay tablets, was not only the medium of record-keeping and trade, but also a vessel for prayers, incantations, and divine communication. Through these symbols, the Mesopotamians sought to appease their gods, maintain cosmic order, and ensure the prosperity of their cities. Among the most revered symbols was the Ankh, often associated with life and immortality. While it's more commonly linked to ancient Egypt, its roots trace back to Mesopotamian art and mythology, where it symbolized the life-giving power of the gods. Then there was the Star of Ishtar, an 8-pointed emblem representing the goddess of love, war, and fertility. For the Babylonians, Ishtar was a central figure, and her star adorned temples, seals, and even the standards carried into battle. It was a reminder of her dual nature, both nurturing and fierce, and her influence over the fate of the people. Equally significant was the Tree of Life, a motif that appeared in Mesopotamian art and literature. This sacred symbol represented the interconnectedness of all existence, from the roots that reached into the underworld to the branches that touched the heavens. It was a visual metaphor for the balance between the earthly and the divine, a concept central to Mesopotamian cosmology. Kings and priests often invoked the Tree of Life in rituals, believing it held the key to harmony and prosperity. But these symbols were not confined to the walls of temples or the pages of sacred texts. They permeated every aspect of daily life. Royal decrees were sealed with symbols invoking divine favor, and amulets bearing sacred marks were worn for protection. Even in the bustling markets, merchants etched symbols onto their goods, hoping to attract the blessings of the gods. For the Mesopotamians, the divine was not distant. It was woven into the fabric of their existence, a constant presence guiding their actions and decisions. Experts suggest that these symbols served a deeper purpose. They were a way for earthly rulers to align themselves with celestial powers. Kings claimed their authority by divine right, and the symbols they used reinforced their connection to the gods. In a world where floods, droughts, and wars were seen as the will of the gods, maintaining this connection was crucial for survival. The symbols acted as a language of legitimacy, a way to assert order in a chaotic universe. As we move from Mesopotamia to other ancient civilizations, we'll see how this idea of divine symbols as a bridge between rulers and gods took on new forms. But for now, let's reflect on how these ancient marks, etched in clay, carved in stone, and worn in life, were more than mere decorations. They were a testament to humanity's enduring quest to understand, communicate with, and perhaps even control the forces that shape our world. In the sun-drenched land of ancient Egypt, where the Nile's life-giving waters shaped a civilization that thrived for millennia, a unique language emerged, one that spoke not only to the living but also to the gods and the dead. Hieroglyphs, those intricate and elegant symbols carved into temple walls, painted on papyrus scrolls, and etched into golden amulets, were far more than a writing system. They were a sacred script, a divine code that bridged the earthly and the eternal. At first glance, hieroglyphs might appear as a collection of birds, snakes, and abstract shapes, but each symbol carried profound meaning. Take the Eye of Horus, for example. This powerful emblem, resembling a stylized human eye with markings beneath it, was more than just a decorative motif. It symbolized protection, healing, and restoration. According to myth, the god Horus lost his eye in a battle with Set, the god of chaos, but it was miraculously restored. This story made the Eye of Horus a potent talisman, often placed on amulets or inscribed in tombs to safeguard the deceased on their journey to the afterlife. Another iconic symbol was the Ankh, often referred to as the Key of Life. Shaped like a cross with a loop at the top, the Ankh represented eternal life and the breath of the divine. Pharaohs were frequently depicted holding the Ankh, symbolizing their role as intermediaries between the gods and humanity. It was also a common motif in temple art, reinforcing the belief that the gods bestowed life and vitality upon the world. Then there was the Djed pillar, a symbol resembling a column with 4 horizontal lines at the top. The Djed represented stability, endurance, and the backbone of the god Osiris, the ruler of the afterlife. During festivals, priests would perform rituals to raise the Djed, symbolizing the resurrection of Osiris and the renewal of cosmic order. This act was not just a religious ceremony but a reaffirmation of life's continuity, a promise that death was not the end but a transition to another realm. Hieroglyphs were not confined to grand temples or royal tombs. They permeated everyday life. Amulets bearing sacred symbols were worn for protection, while spells and prayers inscribed on papyrus scrolls were believed to invoke divine favor. Even the walls of homes were sometimes adorned with hieroglyphs, turning ordinary spaces into sanctuaries of spiritual power. For the ancient Egyptians, these symbols were not static images. They were alive, charged with the energy of the gods they represented. Perhaps the most profound use of hieroglyphs was in the context of death and the afterlife. The walls of tombs were covered with intricate inscriptions, detailing the deceased's journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. These texts, known as the Book of the Dead, guided the soul past treacherous obstacles and toward the judgment of Osiris. The hieroglyphs themselves were believed to have a magical quality, ensuring that the spoken words of the gods would manifest in reality. In this way, hieroglyphs were not just a means of communication but a tool for transformation, a way to secure immortality. As we reflect on the role of hieroglyphs in ancient Egypt, we see a civilization deeply invested in the idea of immortality, not just for their rulers but for all who lived by the sacred principles of order, balance, and truth. The symbols they left behind were more than art. They were a testament to their belief in a universe where the divine and the mortal were intimately connected. This belief would echo through the ages, inspiring countless cultures to seek their own ways of communicating with the eternal. And as we explore further, we'll see how this quest for divine connection took on new forms in other corners of the ancient world. In the sunlit hills and azure waters of ancient Greece, where gods walked among mortals in myth and legend, symbols served as a language of the divine. From the serpent-entwined caduceus to the thunderous trident of Poseidon, these emblems were not just artistic expressions but profound representations of the gods themselves, each carrying a story, a power, and a message for those who sought to understand the will of the heavens. Take the caduceus, for instance, often associated with the god Hermes. This staff entwined with two serpents and crowned with wings symbolized commerce, negotiation, and the passage between realms. Hermes, the messenger of the gods, carried the caduceus as a sign of his role as a mediator between the divine and the mortal. Yet, the serpents also hinted at healing and transformation, a duality that made the symbol resonate deeply in both sacred and everyday contexts. Over time, the caduceus would be adopted by other cultures, including the Romans, and even find its way into modern medicine, though its origins remain firmly rooted in Greek mythology. Equally iconic was the trident of Poseidon, the god of the sea. This three-pronged weapon was more than a tool of power. It embodied the god's dominion over the oceans, his ability to summon storms or calm the waves. In the hands of Poseidon, the trident was a symbol of both destruction and creation, a reminder of the sea's dual nature as a giver of life and a force of chaos. Sailors would invoke Poseidon's symbol before voyages, carving it onto their ships or wearing amulets in hopes of gaining his favor. Even today, the trident remains a powerful emblem, appearing in national flags and maritime traditions as a nod to its ancient roots. Then there was the olive branch, a symbol of peace and wisdom tied to the goddess Athena. According to myth, Athena won the patronage of Athens by gifting the city an olive tree, a source of food, oil, and wood. The olive branch became a universal sign of harmony, carried by messengers in times of truce and worn by victors in games dedicated to the gods. Its simplicity spoke volumes, embodying the ideals of balance and prosperity that the Greeks revered. But symbols in ancient Greece were not confined to objects. Sacred sites like Delphi, the home of the oracle of Apollo, were themselves living symbols of divine communication. Pilgrims from across the Greek world would journey to Delphi, seeking guidance from the Pythia, the high priestess who channeled Apollo's wisdom. The temple itself was adorned with symbols, laurel wreaths, tripods, and the omphalos, a stone believed to mark the center of the world. These symbols were not mere decorations. They were tools for interpreting the cryptic messages of the gods, transforming the sacred space into a bridge between the mortal and the divine. Greek mythology provided the stories that breathed life into these symbols. Each god and goddess had their own emblems, from Zeus's thunderbolt to Demeter's sheaf of wheat, each one a reflection of their domain and personality. These symbols were woven into rituals, festivals, and daily life, serving as a constant reminder of the gods' presence and influence. They were not static images but dynamic forces, capable of invoking divine power and shaping human destiny. The legacy of these symbols extends far beyond ancient Greece. The caduceus, the olive branch, and the trident have found their way into modern culture, influencing art, literature, and even politics. The idea of a symbol as a mediator between humanity and the divine, a concept deeply rooted in Greek thought, continues to resonate across time and space. As we explore further, we'll see how these ancient emblems inspired other civilizations, shaping the way they too sought to communicate with the sacred. But for now, let's marvel at the ingenuity of the Greeks, who turned simple objects into profound expressions of their connection to the gods. In the heart of ancient India, where the Ganges flowed and the Himalayas loomed, a profound spiritual tradition gave rise to symbols that transcended mere art. These sacred emblems, rooted in the philosophies of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, were not just decorative motifs but keys to unlocking higher states of consciousness and forging a connection with the divine. Among the most revered of these symbols was the Aum, a single syllable that encapsulated the essence of the universe. Chanted in meditation and inscribed on temple walls, the Aum represented the primordial sound from which all creation emerged. Its three curves and a dot symbolized the states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, while the dot beyond stood for the state of pure consciousness or enlightenment. For practitioners, the Aum was more than a sound. It was a vibration that resonated with the very fabric of existence, a tool to align the self with the infinite. Equally significant was the swastika, a symbol often misunderstood in modern times but deeply sacred in ancient Indian culture. Its name derives from the Sanskrit words su, meaning good, and asti, meaning to be, forming a word that signifies well-being and auspiciousness. The swastika's four arms, bent at right angles, represented the cyclical nature of life, the four directions, and the eternal movement of the cosmos. It adorned the entrances of homes, temples, and sacred texts, serving as a reminder of harmony and balance. In rituals, it was drawn with vermilion or rice powder, inviting blessings and protection. The swastika's presence in Indian culture spanned millennia, a testament to its enduring power as a symbol of divine order and prosperity. Then there was the lotus, a flower that bloomed in muddy waters yet remained untouched by impurity. In Indian spirituality, the lotus symbolized purity, enlightenment, and the journey of the soul. Its roots in the mud represented earthly existence, while its pristine petals reaching toward the sun embodied spiritual awakening. The lotus was closely associated with deities like Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom, often depicted seated on a lotus throne. In meditation, practitioners visualized the lotus as a chakra or energy center within the body, using it as a focal point to transcend the material world and connect with the divine. These symbols were not confined to personal practice. They were woven into the very architecture of temples and the rituals that took place within them. Temples were designed as microcosms of the universe, with every carving, every pillar, and every mural imbued with sacred meaning. The Aum adorned the spires, the swastika marked the thresholds, and the lotus bloomed in intricate carvings, transforming these spaces into portals to the divine. Rituals performed within these temples, chanting, offerings, and meditation were enhanced by the presence of these symbols, creating an environment where the physical and spiritual worlds intersected. What made these symbols so powerful was their ability to convey complex spiritual truths in a form that was both accessible and profound. They served as visual mantras, tools to focus the mind and elevate the spirit. For ancient Indians, the divine was not a distant force but an ever-present reality, and these symbols were a way to engage with that reality directly. They were not just representations of the divine but conduits through which the divine could be experienced. As we reflect on the mystical symbols of ancient India, we see a tradition deeply rooted in the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. These symbols were more than art or decoration. They were pathways to a higher understanding, a way to bridge the gap between the human and the infinite. This idea of symbols as tools for spiritual transformation would echo across cultures, inspiring countless seekers to explore the mysteries of the divine. And as we continue our journey, we'll see how this ancient wisdom shaped the spiritual traditions of other civilizations, each adding its own unique voice to the timeless conversation between humanity and the sacred. Across the dense jungles and towering pyramids of Mesoamerica, a rich tapestry of symbols emerged, each one a testament to the profound connection between humanity and the cosmos. The Maya, Aztec, and Olmec civilizations crafted intricate systems of meaning, using symbols not just as art, but as tools to navigate the mysteries of the universe. Among the most iconic of these symbols was the feathered serpent, known as Quetzalcoatl to the Aztecs and Cuculcan to the Maya. This deity, depicted as a serpent adorned with vibrant feathers, represented the duality of earth and sky, the material and the spiritual. Temples dedicated to the feathered serpent, like the towering pyramid at Chichen Itza, were designed to align with celestial events. During the equinoxes, the play of light and shadow would create the illusion of a serpent descending the steps, a breathtaking display of divine communication through architecture and symbol. Equally remarkable was the Aztec sunstone, a massive carved disc often referred to as the calendar stone. Far more than a timekeeping device, this intricate symbol was a cosmic map depicting the creation myths and cycles of time. At its center was the face of Tanatia, the sun god, surrounded by concentric rings representing the ages of the world. Each era, or sun, ended in cataclysm, only to be reborn anew. The sunstone was not just a record of time, it was a reminder of humanity's place within the grand cycles of the universe. For the Aztecs, understanding these cycles was essential to predicting cosmic events and maintaining harmony with the gods. The Maya, too, developed a sophisticated system of symbols, most notably their hieroglyphic script. Unlike the abstract symbols of other cultures, Mayan glyphs were a fully developed writing system, used to record history, rituals, and astronomical observations. These glyphs adorned the walls of temples, stelae, and codices, serving as a bridge between the earthly and the divine. One of the most significant uses of Mayan glyphs was in their calendar system, which tracked the movements of celestial bodies with astonishing precision. The long count calendar, for instance, measured vast spans of time, allowing the Maya to predict eclipses, solstices, and other cosmic events. These predictions were not mere scientific calculations. They were sacred acts ensuring the alignment of human life with the rhythms of the heavens. The Olmec, often considered the mother culture of Mesoamerica, laid the foundation for many of these symbols. Their colossal stone heads, carved with intricate details, are believed to represent rulers or deities, their expressions capturing the gravity of their connection to the divine. The Olmec also used symbols like the jaguar, a creature associated with power and the underworld, to express the duality of life and death. These early symbols would influence the Maya and Aztecs, who refined and expanded upon them, creating a shared visual language of the sacred. What unites these Mesoamerican symbols is their role as mediators between humanity and the cosmos. They were not static images but living tools, used in rituals to communicate with deities, predict celestial events, and ensure the continuity of life. The Feathered Serpent, the Sun Stone, and the Mayan glyphs were all part of a larger effort to understand the forces that shaped existence. They remind us that for these ancient cultures, the divine was not distant. It was woven into the fabric of the universe, manifesting in the sun, the stars, and the cycles of time. As we reflect on these symbols, we see a universal truth. Humanity's quest to understand the cosmos is as old as civilization itself. From the jungles of Mesoamerica to the deserts of Egypt, from the temples of Greece to the caves of early humans, symbols have been our way of reaching out to the unknown, of finding meaning in the vastness of existence. They are a testament to our shared desire to connect with something greater, to navigate the mysteries of life and death, and to find our place within the grand tapestry of the universe. And as we continue to explore the symbols of other cultures, we'll see how this timeless quest has shaped the way we see ourselves and the world around us. In the intricate patterns etched into ancient temples, the precise proportions of sacred monuments, and the delicate curves of divine symbols lies a hidden language, one that transcends time and culture. This is the language of sacred geometry, a universal code that ancient civilizations believed held the secrets of the cosmos. From the flower of life to the vesica piscis and the golden ratio, these geometric forms were more than mathematical curiosities. They were seen as the building blocks of creation, the visual expression of divine principles that connected the physical and spiritual realms. Take, for example, the flower of life, a mesmerizing pattern of overlapping circles that forms a hexagonal symmetry. Found in temples across Egypt, in the ruins of ancient Mesopotamia, and even in the sacred art of India, this symbol was believed to represent the fundamental structure of the universe. Each circle, intersecting perfectly with the next, echoed the interconnectedness of all life. The flower of life was not just a symbol, it was a map of creation, a visual reminder that everything in existence, from the smallest atom to the vast expanse of the cosmos, was part of a greater, unified whole. Scholars suggest that this pattern may have been used as a blueprint for sacred architecture, guiding the construction of temples and monuments designed to harmonize with the energies of the universe. Then there's the vesica piscis, a shape formed by the intersection of two circles of the same size, overlapping so that the center of each lies on the circumference of the other. This simple yet profound symbol appears in Christian art as the mandorla, the almond-shaped aureole surrounding holy figures, but its significance stretches far beyond Christianity. In ancient cultures, the vesica piscis represented the meeting of heaven and earth, the union of opposites, and the birth of creation. The almond-shaped space at its center was often seen as a portal, a sacred threshold between realms. This idea was echoed in architecture, where doorways and arches were designed in the shape of the vesica piscis, symbolizing passage from the mundane to the divine. Perhaps the most famous of these geometric principles is the golden ratio, a mathematical proportion found in nature, art, and architecture. Known as phi, this ratio appears in the spirals of seashells, the arrangement of leaves, and even the proportions of the human body. Ancient Greeks, particularly the mathematician Pythagoras, revered the golden ratio as a divine proportion, a key to understanding the harmony of the universe. The Parthenon in Athens, for instance, was designed using this ratio, its columns and dimensions carefully calculated to reflect cosmic balance. The Egyptians, too, incorporated the golden ratio into the Great Pyramid of Giza, aligning its structure with both earthly and celestial geometries. What makes these geometric patterns so compelling is their universality. The flower of life, the vesica piscis, and the golden ratio appear in cultures separated by vast distances and centuries, yet they all point to the same underlying truth. These patterns were not arbitrary. They were believed to encode the very essence of reality, offering a glimpse into the mind of the divine. For ancient architects and artists, incorporating sacred geometry into their work was a way to align human creations with the divine order, ensuring that temples, sculptures, and even entire cities resonated with the harmonies of the cosmos. But sacred geometry was more than just an aesthetic or architectural tool. It was deeply intertwined with spirituality, serving as a pathway to higher understanding. Meditating on these patterns or creating them in ritual contexts was believed to elevate the mind and soul, bringing the practitioner closer to the divine. In this way, sacred geometry became a bridge not just between cultures, but between the material and the spiritual, the seen and the unseen. As we explore the role of sacred geometry in ancient cultures, we begin to see a common thread: the belief that the universe is not chaotic, but ordered, and that this order can be understood through the language of shapes and numbers. This idea would go on to influence not only art and architecture, but also the spiritual practices of countless traditions, each adding its own unique interpretation to this timeless conversation with the divine. And as we continue our journey, we'll see how these ancient principles continue to inspire and inform us, even in the modern world. In the vast and ancient landscapes of China, where mountains rose like dragons and rivers carved paths through fertile valleys, symbols became a language of cosmic harmony. Here, the natural world was seen as a reflection of the divine, and symbols like the Yin-Yang, the dragon, and the 8 trigrams emerged as tools to understand and navigate the delicate balance of the universe. These were not mere images but profound expressions of the forces that governed life, death, and everything in between. At the heart of Chinese philosophy lies the Yin-Yang, a symbol that captures the essence of duality and unity. This simple yet profound circle, divided into swirling black and white halves, represents the interplay of opposites, light and dark, male and female, action and stillness. But the Yin-Yang is more than just a symbol of balance. It's a reminder that these opposites are not in conflict but in constant, harmonious exchange. Each half contains a dot of its counterpart, illustrating that within every force lies the seed of its opposite. For the ancient Chinese, this was a guiding principle, a way to understand the ebb and flow of life and to align oneself with the natural order. Equally significant was the dragon, a creature that transcended the boundaries of myth to become a symbol of power, wisdom, and transformation. Unlike the fire-breathing beasts of Western lore, the Chinese dragon was a benevolent force associated with water, rain, and the life-giving energy of the heavens. Emperors adopted the dragon as their emblem, claiming a divine mandate to rule. But the dragon was not just a symbol of authority. It was also a guardian, a protector of the cosmic balance. Its sinuous form, often depicted with clouds or waves, symbolized the fluid, ever-changing nature of existence. In Taoist thought, the dragon represented the dynamic interplay of energies, the unseen forces that shape the world. Then there were the 8 trigrams, a set of symbols that form the foundation of the I Ching, or Book of Changes. Each trigram consists of 3 lines, either broken or unbroken, representing fundamental elements of the cosmos: heaven, earth, thunder, wind, water, fire, mountain, and lake. Together, these trigrams create 64 hexagrams, each one a snapshot of a particular moment or situation. The I Ching was not just a divination tool. It was a guide to understanding the rhythms of life, offering wisdom on how to navigate challenges and seize opportunities. By consulting the trigrams, individuals sought to align their actions with the flow of cosmic energy, ensuring harmony and success. These symbols were not confined to philosophy or divination. They permeated every aspect of Chinese culture. In Feng Shui, the ancient art of arranging spaces to harmonize with natural energies, the Yin-Yang and the 8 trigrams played a central role. Homes, temples, and even entire cities were designed to reflect the balance of cosmic forces, with the dragon's energy often invoked to protect and empower. The placement of doors, the orientation of buildings, and the flow of water were all carefully considered, guided by the principles embodied in these sacred symbols. What makes these symbols so enduring is their ability to convey complex ideas in a form that is both accessible and profound. They remind us that the universe is not a collection of random events but a harmonious system, governed by principles that can be understood and embraced. For the ancient Chinese, these symbols were not just tools for divination or decoration. They were pathways to wisdom, ways to connect with the divine and to live in harmony with the world. As we reflect on the symbols of ancient China, we see a culture deeply attuned to the rhythms of the cosmos. The Yin-Yang, the dragon, and the 8 trigrams were more than just images. They were expressions of a worldview that sought to balance opposites, to find unity in diversity, and to align human life with the greater forces of the universe. This idea of symbols as reflections of universal harmony would echo across cultures, inspiring countless traditions to explore the mysteries of existence. And as we continue our journey, we'll see how these ancient principles continue to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. In the sacred spaces of ancient temples and under the open skies of ceremonial grounds, divine symbols were more than just decorations. They were the very heartbeat of rituals that sought to bridge the gap between the earthly and the divine. From the solemn chants of Vedic priests to the dramatic reenactments of the Eleusinian mysteries, these symbols served as conduits, tools to invoke the presence of gods, ancestors, and cosmic forces. They transformed ordinary actions into sacred acts, ensuring that every gesture, every word resonated with spiritual power. Take, for instance, the Eleusinian mysteries, one of the most secretive and revered rites of ancient Greece. Held in honor of Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, and her daughter Persephone, these rituals were a journey of death and rebirth, symbolizing the cycle of the seasons and the promise of eternal life. Central to these mysteries was the use of sacred symbols, wheat sheaves, torches, and the enigmatic kist, a chest said to hold objects of profound spiritual significance. Initiates sworn to secrecy would carry these symbols as they moved through the rituals, each one a key to unlocking deeper layers of meaning. The symbols were not just passive objects, they were active participants in the ceremony, guiding the initiates through a transformative experience that blurred the lines between the mortal and the divine. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, the opening of the mouth ceremony was a pivotal ritual designed to restore the senses of the deceased, ensuring their safe passage into the afterlife. During this elaborate rite, priests used a series of sacred tools, each inscribed with divine symbols, to open the mouth, eyes, and ears of the mummy. The Ankh, the Jed pillar, and the Eye of Horus were all invoked, their power channeled through the ritual actions of the priests. These symbols were believed to animate the deceased, allowing them to speak, see, and hear in the afterlife. This ceremony was not just a practical act of preparation. It was a profound expression of the Egyptians' belief in the continuity of life and the enduring connection between the living and the dead. In the Vedic traditions of ancient India, fire rituals or yajnas were central to worship. The fire itself was a symbol of Agni, the god of fire and the messenger between humans and gods. Offerings of ghee, grains, and herbs were made into the flames, each accompanied by sacred chants and gestures. The fire altar, constructed with precise geometric proportions, was itself a symbol of the cosmos, its design reflecting the interconnectedness of all existence. The rituals were not merely acts of devotion, they were cosmic transactions ensuring harmony between the natural and supernatural worlds. The symbols used fire, sacred chants, and geometric patterns were essential to the ritual's success, transforming it into a dialogue with the divine. What unites these diverse rituals is the belief that symbols hold the power to make the invisible visible, to bring the divine into the realm of the human. They were not mere representations but active forces capable of invoking, channeling, and embodying spiritual energy. Whether it was the wheat sheaf of Demeter, the Ankh of the Egyptian priests, or the fire of the Vedic altars, these symbols were the language through which ancient peoples communicated with the sacred. But these rituals were more than just attempts to appease the gods or ensure personal salvation. They were expressions of a deeper yearning to understand the mysteries of existence, to find meaning in the cycles of life and death, and to connect with something greater than oneself. Through symbols, ancient cultures found a way to articulate their hopes, fears, and aspirations, turning abstract ideas into tangible forms that could be seen, touched, and experienced. As we reflect on the role of symbols in these ancient rituals, we see a universal truth. The human desire to commune with the divine is as old as civilization itself. Whether through the dramatic rites of Eleusis, the solemn ceremonies of Egypt, or the fiery altars of India, symbols have always been our way of reaching beyond the mundane, of touching the eternal. And as we continue to explore the sacred symbols of other cultures, we'll see how this timeless quest has shaped the way we understand ourselves and our place in the cosmos. High above the earth, where the night sky stretches infinitely, ancient civilizations found a language written in the stars. For them, the heavens were not a random scattering of lights, but a carefully orchestrated map, a divine canvas etched with symbols that held the secrets of the gods. Constellations, zodiac signs, and planetary symbols became more than celestial markers. They were a sacred script, a way to read the intentions of the divine and predict the rhythms of life on Earth. The Egyptians, for instance, divided the night sky into 36 decans, each representing a star or group of stars that rose just before dawn at different times of the year. These decans were more than timekeepers. They were divine messengers, their movements believed to influence both the natural world and human destiny. Temples were aligned with specific decans, and priests used their positions to determine the most auspicious times for rituals and ceremonies. The rising of Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, heralded the annual flooding of the Nile, a life-giving event that ensured the survival of the kingdom. For the Egyptians, the stars were not distant observers but active participants in the cycle of life, their movements a direct communication from the gods. In Mesopotamia, the Babylonians developed one of the earliest known zodiac systems, dividing the sky into 12 equal parts, each associated with a constellation. These zodiac signs were not just symbols of the stars but representations of the gods themselves. The constellation Leo, for example, was linked to the sun god Shamash, while Virgo was associated with Ishtar, the goddess of love and war. Babylonian astrologers believed that the positions of these celestial symbols could reveal the will of the gods, offering guidance on everything from agricultural cycles to the fates of kings. The zodiac became a tool for divination, a way to navigate the uncertainties of life by aligning with the divine order of the cosmos. Far across the ocean, the Maya also turned their gaze skyward, crafting elaborate star charts that tracked the movements of planets and constellations. Their understanding of celestial patterns was unparalleled, allowing them to predict eclipses, solstices, and other cosmic events with remarkable precision. The Maya saw the heavens as a reflection of their mythology, with constellations representing gods, heroes, and sacred animals. The Pleiades, for instance, were linked to the maize god, their appearance in the sky marking the beginning of the planting season. For the Maya, the stars were not just symbols but storytellers, weaving narratives of creation, destruction, and renewal. What unites these cultures is the belief that the cosmos is alive, a dynamic interplay of forces that communicates with humanity through the language of symbols. The stars were not distant and indifferent. They were intimate, their movements a divine dialogue that shaped the fate of individuals and civilizations alike. Whether through the decans of Egypt, the zodiac of Babylon, or the star charts of the Maya, these symbols were a way to decode the messages of the gods, to find meaning in the vastness of the universe. As we reflect on these ancient practices, we begin to see the heavens not as a void but as a tapestry, a divine canvas painted with symbols that connect the earthly and the eternal. This idea of the cosmos as a sacred text, a living map of divine communication, continues to inspire us, reminding us of our place within the grand design of existence. And as we turn our gaze to the skies, we too can find echoes of that ancient wisdom, written in the timeless language of the stars. From the towering pyramids of Egypt to the sprawling temples of Angkor Wat, divine symbols were not just carved into stone, they were woven into the very fabric of ancient art and architecture. These structures were more than feats of engineering. They were sacred spaces designed to align with cosmic forces and serve as gateways to the divine. Every pillar, every carving, every chamber was imbued with meaning, transforming stone and mortar into a language of the eternal. Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, for example. Its precise alignment with the cardinal directions and its geometric perfection were not accidental. To the ancient Egyptians, the pyramid was a symbol of the primordial mound from which creation emerged, a physical representation of the connection between earth and sky. The pyramid's four sides mirrored the four pillars of the heavens, while its apex pointed toward the realm of the gods, inviting celestial energies to flow downward. Even the narrow shafts within the pyramid, aligned with specific stars like Sirius and Orion, were believed to channel the spirits of the deceased into the afterlife. This was architecture as cosmology, a built environment that mirrored the order of the universe. Halfway across the world, in the jungles of Cambodia, the temples of Angkor Wat tell a similar story. This vast complex, dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, was designed as a microcosm of the cosmos. Its central towers represent Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods, while the surrounding moat symbolizes the cosmic ocean. The intricate carvings that adorn its walls depict scenes from Hindu mythology, each one a lesson in dharma, karma, and the divine order. The temple's layout itself is a mandala, a sacred geometric pattern that serves as a map of the universe. Walking through Angkor Wat was not just a physical journey but a spiritual one, a pilgrimage through the layers of existence toward enlightenment. In ancient Greece, the labyrinth became a powerful symbol of spiritual transformation. The most famous of these, the labyrinth at Knossos, was not just a maze but a sacred path, a metaphor for the soul's journey through life's trials toward unity with the divine. The winding, intricate design mirrored the twists and turns of human experience, while the center represented the ultimate goal, enlightenment or union with the gods. Even the act of walking the labyrinth was a form of meditation, a way to align oneself with the rhythms of the cosmos. Obelisks, too, held deep symbolic significance. These towering stone monuments, found in ancient Egypt and later adopted by the Romans, were more than just markers of power. Their pointed tops, reaching toward the sky, were seen as conduits for divine energy, connecting the earthly realm with the heavens. The hieroglyphs carved into their surfaces told stories of gods and pharaohs, transforming the obelisk into a living record of sacred history. When the Romans brought obelisks to their cities, they reimagined them as symbols of imperial glory, but the underlying spiritual resonance remained. Even today, obelisks stand in cities like Rome and Washington, D.C. Their towering forms a testament to the enduring allure of these ancient symbols. What makes these architectural elements so remarkable is their universality. Across cultures and continents, ancient builders used similar symbols, pyramids, mandalas, labyrinths, and obelisks to express the same fundamental truth. They understood that architecture was not just about shelter or aesthetics. It was a way to communicate with the divine, to create spaces where the sacred and the mundane could intersect. These structures were not static, they were alive, charged with the energy of the symbols they embodied. Today, the legacy of these ancient symbols lives on in modern architecture. From the spiraling designs of contemporary museums to the geometric patterns of sacred spaces, the principles of sacred geometry and divine symbolism continue to inspire. Architects draw on the ancient wisdom of the pyramid, the mandala, and the labyrinth to create buildings that resonate with a sense of the sacred, even in a secular age. These modern interpretations remind us that the quest to connect with the divine is not confined to the past. It is a timeless human impulse, one that continues to shape the way we build, create, and dream. As we marvel at these ancient structures and their modern descendants, we are reminded of the power of symbols to transcend time and culture. They are not just relics of the past but living expressions of our shared humanity, a testament to the enduring desire to reach beyond the visible and touch the infinite. And as we continue to explore the mysteries of divine symbols, we'll see how they continue to inspire, challenge, and connect us across the ages. In the hands of ancient peoples, divine symbols were not just abstract concepts, they became tangible, wearable sources of power. Amulets and talismans, small yet potent objects, carried the weight of spiritual protection, healing, and connection to the divine. These artifacts were more than mere ornaments, they were personal conduits to the sacred, crafted with care and imbued with meaning. Whether worn around the neck, tucked into clothing, or placed in homes, they served as constant reminders of the unseen forces that shaped life. One of the most iconic examples is the Egyptian scarab, a beetle-shaped amulet that symbolized rebirth and transformation. To the ancient Egyptians, the scarab beetle, rolling a ball of dung, mirrored the sun god Ra's journey across the sky, representing the cycle of life, death, and renewal. Scarabs were often inscribed with prayers or spells, and they were placed on the chests of mummies to ensure safe passage into the afterlife. But these amulets weren't reserved for the dead. They were also worn by the living, offering protection and vitality in the present. The scarab's enduring popularity speaks to its power as a symbol of resilience and hope, a reminder that life is ever renewing. Another widely recognized symbol is the hamsa, a hand-shaped talisman that spans cultures and religions. Known as the Hand of Fatima in Islamic tradition and the Hand of Miriam in Judaism, the hamsa is believed to ward off the evil eye and bring blessings. Its open palm, often adorned with an eye or other protective symbols, serves as a shield against negative energies. The hamsa's universal appeal lies in its simplicity and its message of safeguarding what is precious: health, family, and fortune. For centuries, it has been worn as jewelry, hung in homes, and even painted onto walls, a testament to its enduring role as a guardian of the sacred. Moving to the Celtic world, the Celtic cross stands out as a powerful symbol of faith and unity. This intricate design, combining a cross with a circle, represents the intersection of the divine and the earthly. The circle is often interpreted as a symbol of eternity or the sun, while the cross signifies the four directions, the elements, or the balance of nature. Celtic crosses were frequently carved into stone and placed in sacred sites, but smaller versions were also worn as personal talismans. They served as reminders of spiritual connection, grounding the wearer in both faith and the natural world. The craftsmanship of these crosses' delicate knots and spirals reflects a deep reverence for the interconnectedness of all things. The creation of these amulets and talismans was itself a sacred act. Artisans carefully selected materials believed to carry intrinsic power, such as gold for its connection to the sun, lapis lazuli for its celestial blue, or jet for its protective properties. Symbols were meticulously engraved, painted, or carved, often accompanied by prayers or rituals to activate their spiritual potency. The process was as important as the final product, a collaboration between human skill and divine inspiration. But what made these objects so effective beyond their physical form, it was the belief they inspired. To the wearer, an amulet or talisman was a direct link to the divine, a way to carry the sacred into everyday life. They offered comfort in times of uncertainty, strength in moments of weakness, and a sense of connection to something greater. In a world filled with unseen dangers and mysteries, these small yet mighty symbols became anchors of faith and hope. As we reflect on the power of amulets and talismans, we see a universal truth. Symbols are not just static images, but living expressions of our deepest desires and fears. They remind us that the divine is not distant, it can be carried with us close to our hearts as we navigate the challenges and joys of life. This idea of symbols as personal conduits to the sacred continues to resonate, bridging the gap between the ancient and the modern, the earthly and the eternal. And as we explore further, we'll see how these timeless objects have shaped the way we seek protection, healing, and connection in our own lives. In the sacred texts of antiquity, divine symbols were not merely written words, they were keys to unlocking profound spiritual truths. Across cultures, from the poetic hymns of the Vedas to the allegorical stories of the Bible, symbols served as a bridge between the human and the divine, offering layers of meaning that transcended the literal. These texts were not just historical records or moral teachings. They were living documents encoded with a language of the sacred that spoke directly to the soul. The Vedas, some of the oldest known spiritual texts, are filled with symbolic language designed to elevate the mind and spirit. Take the sacred syllable Om, for example. Found throughout Vedic scripture, Om is described as the primal sound of creation, the vibration from which the universe emerged. Chanted in meditation, it is believed to align the practitioner with the rhythms of the cosmos. But Om is more than a sound, it's a symbol of unity, representing the interconnectedness of all existence. The Vedas also use intricate numerological systems, where numbers like 3 and 7 hold deep spiritual significance, reflecting the structure of the universe and the path to enlightenment. Through these symbols, the Vedas offer not just knowledge, but a way of experiencing the divine. In the Hebrew Bible, the Tetragrammaton, Iho, the unpronounceable name of God, stands as one of the most powerful symbols. This four-letter name was considered so sacred that it was rarely spoken aloud, instead being replaced with titles like Adonai or Elohim in prayer. The Tetragrammaton was more than a name, it was a symbol of the ineffable, a reminder that the divine transcends human understanding. Its very structure, with 4 letters representing the 4 elements or the 4 directions, conveyed the idea of God's omnipresence. The Hebrew tradition also used gematria, a form of numerology, to uncover hidden meanings within the text. Each letter of the Hebrew alphabet corresponds to a number, and by calculating the numerical value of words, scholars believed they could reveal deeper spiritual insights. Christianity, too, is rich with symbolic language. The ichthys or fish symbol is one of the most recognizable. Early Christians used this simple drawing as a secret sign of their faith, with the Greek word for fish, ichthys, serving as an acronym for Jesus Christ, Son of God, Savior. The fish also carried layers of meaning, from its connection to the miracle of the loaves and fishes to its symbolism of baptism and new life. Similarly, the cross, while a literal representation of Christ's crucifixion, became a universal symbol of sacrifice, redemption, and divine love. These symbols permeated early Christian art, literature, and ritual, becoming a visual shorthand for the faith's core teachings. What makes these ancient texts so enduring is their ability to speak to both the intellect and the heart. The Vedas, the Bible, and other sacred writings use symbols not just to instruct but to transform. They invite the reader to move beyond the surface, to explore the deeper truths that lie beneath the words. This is why, even today, these texts continue to inspire spiritual seekers. Modern practitioners of yoga, for instance, chant Om to connect with the divine within, while scholars of the Kabbalah study the Tetragrammaton to uncover new layers of meaning. In Christianity, the ichthys and the cross remain potent symbols, reminding believers of their faith's roots and its promise of salvation. These texts also remind us that symbols are not static. They evolve, taking on new meanings as they are reinterpreted across generations. The Vedas, once chanted in ancient fire rituals, now inspire global movements for mindfulness and inner peace. The Tetragrammaton, once a secret name, has become a subject of fascination for theologians and spiritual explorers alike. And the ichthys, once a hidden sign, now adorns jewelry, bumper stickers, and church steeples, a testament to its enduring power. As we reflect on the role of divine symbols in ancient texts, we see a universal truth. The sacred is not confined to a single time or place. These symbols, encoded in the words of the past, continue to resonate with us today, offering guidance, comfort, and connection. They remind us that the search for meaning is a timeless journey, one that transcends borders, languages, and centuries. And as we turn the pages of these ancient texts, we too become part of that ongoing conversation with the divine, adding our voices to a story that began long before us and will continue long after. In the shadowy corners of medieval laboratories, where the boundaries between science and spirituality blurred, a secret language of symbols emerged, one that promised not just the transformation of base metals into gold, but the transformation of the human soul. This was the world of alchemy, a mystical practice that sought to unravel the deepest mysteries of existence. At its heart were symbols like the Ouroboros, the serpent devouring its own tail, a powerful image of eternal renewal and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. For alchemists, the Ouroboros was more than a cryptic emblem. It was a mirror reflecting the endless quest for self-discovery and enlightenment. It whispered of the unity of all things, the idea that creation and destruction are two sides of the same cosmic coin. Another cornerstone of alchemy was the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary substance said to hold the power to transmute lead into gold and grant immortality. But the Philosopher's Stone was not just a physical object, it was a symbol of spiritual perfection, the ultimate goal of the alchemical journey. Alchemists believed that through rigorous discipline, meditation, and the purification of the soul, they could achieve a state of enlightenment akin to the stone itself. This pursuit was deeply personal, a metaphor for the inner work required to transcend the mundane and touch the divine. The stone's elusive nature mirrored the challenges of the spiritual path, reminding seekers that true transformation requires patience, perseverance, and an unshakable belief in the unseen. Alchemy was also deeply connected to the natural world, particularly through its association with the seven metals: gold, silver, mercury, copper, iron, tin, and lead. Each metal was linked to a celestial body: gold to the sun, silver to the moon, mercury to Mercury, and so on. These metals weren't just materials to be manipulated. They were symbols of cosmic forces, each one representing a stage in the alchemist's journey. Mercury, for instance, symbolized fluidity and transformation, while gold represented the pinnacle of spiritual perfection. By working with these metals, alchemists believed they could harness the energies of the cosmos, aligning themselves with the rhythms of the universe. But alchemy was more than just a spiritual practice, it was also a precursor to modern science. Alchemists were among the first to experiment with chemical processes, laying the groundwork for disciplines like chemistry and medicine. Their meticulous observations and recorded experiments, often cloaked in symbolic language, paved the way for the scientific method. Figures like Paracelsus, a Renaissance alchemist and physician, bridged the gap between mysticism and medicine, using alchemical principles to develop new treatments and challenge the medical orthodoxies of their time. In this way, alchemy was both a spiritual and scientific endeavor, a testament to humanity's dual desire to understand the material world and transcend it. What makes alchemy so fascinating is its use of symbols as keys to hidden knowledge. The Ouroboros, the Philosopher's Stone, and the seven metals were not just static images, they were dynamic tools designed to unlock deeper layers of understanding. Alchemists believed that by meditating on these symbols, they could access universal truths, tapping into the wisdom of the cosmos itself. This idea of symbols as portals to the divine continues to resonate, influencing everything from modern psychology to the arts. Carl Jung, for example, saw alchemical symbols as representations of the unconscious mind, a way to explore the inner landscape and achieve psychological wholeness. As we explore the mysteries of alchemy, we begin to see its symbols as more than relics of a bygone era. They are timeless expressions of the human spirit, a reminder that the quest for knowledge and transformation is as old as civilization itself. Whether through the endless cycle of the Ouroboros, the elusive promise of the Philosopher's Stone, or the cosmic dance of the seven metals, alchemy invites us to look beyond the surface and seek the deeper truths that lie within. And as we continue our journey, we'll see how these ancient symbols continue to inspire and guide us, offering keys to unlocking the mysteries of both the universe and ourselves. In the vast and diverse traditions of indigenous cultures around the world, divine symbols served as profound expressions of spiritual wisdom, cultural identity, and deep connection to the land. From the petroglyphs of Native American tribes to the intricate Dreamtime art of Aboriginal Australians, these symbols were more than mere images. They were living narratives carrying the stories of creation, the teachings of ancestors, and the sacred relationship between humanity and the natural world. Take, for instance, the petroglyphs carved into the rocks of the American Southwest. These ancient symbols, etched by Native American tribes like the Navajo and Hopi, depict everything from celestial bodies to animal spirits. One of the most striking examples is the Kokopelli, a humpbacked flute player often associated with fertility, music, and the cycles of life. For these tribes, Kokopelli wasn't just a figure of folklore. He was a symbol of renewal, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all living things. The petroglyphs themselves were often created in sacred spaces, where the act of carving was a form of prayer, a way to honor the land and its spiritual guardians. These symbols were not meant to be static. They were part of a living tradition, passed down through generations as a way to preserve cultural identity and spiritual teachings. On the other side of the world, the Aboriginal peoples of Australia have their own rich tradition of sacred symbols, deeply rooted in the concept of the Dreamtime. Dreamtime art is more than just visual storytelling. It's a map of the spiritual landscape, a way to connect with the ancestral beings who shaped the world. Symbols like concentric circles, wavy lines, and animal tracks are used to represent waterholes, journeys, and sacred sites. Each symbol carries layers of meaning, often tied to specific Dreamtime stories that explain the origins of the land, its creatures, and its people. For the Aboriginal artists, creating these symbols is an act of reverence, a way to keep the Dreamtime alive and ensure its wisdom continues to guide their communities. What unites these indigenous traditions is the belief that symbols are not separate from the world. They are an integral part of it. For Native American tribes, the petroglyphs were a way to communicate with the spirits of the land, to seek their guidance and blessings. For Aboriginal Australians, Dreamtime art was a way to maintain their connection to the ancestors and the stories that define their identity. These symbols were not just decorative, they were functional, serving as tools for teaching, healing, and preserving cultural heritage. But the role of these symbols extends beyond their immediate cultural contexts. They remind us of a universal truth. that humanity's spiritual heritage is deeply intertwined with the natural world. Indigenous symbols often reflect a world where the land, the sky, and all living beings are seen as part of a single, sacred web of life. This perspective challenges us to reconsider our own relationship with the environment, to see it not as a resource to be exploited, but as a living, spiritual entity that deserves respect and care. As we reflect on the divine symbols of indigenous cultures, we are reminded of the power of art and storytelling to preserve identity and connect us to something greater than ourselves. These symbols are not relics of the past, they are living expressions of a worldview that continues to inspire and guide. They invite us to listen to the wisdom of those who came before us, to honor the land and its stories, and to recognize that our spiritual heritage is not confined to any one culture or tradition. It is a shared legacy, a tapestry woven from the threads of countless voices, each one contributing to the timeless conversation between humanity and the divine. And as we continue our exploration, we'll see how these ancient symbols continue to shape our understanding of the sacred, offering insights that resonate across time and space. As civilizations rose and fell, the symbols they revered evolved, adapting to new beliefs, cultures, and eras. What began as simple marks etched into stone or painted on cave walls transformed into intricate emblems of faith, carrying the weight of centuries of devotion and meaning. Yet, even as these symbols changed, they retained their power, a testament to humanity's enduring need to connect with the divine. Consider the Christian cross, one of the most recognizable symbols in the world today. Its origins are humble, rooted in the Roman Empire as an instrument of execution. Yet, through the teachings of Christianity, it became a profound emblem of sacrifice, redemption, and eternal life. Over time, the cross took on various forms, from the Latin cross to the Greek cross, each variation reflecting the cultural and theological nuances of different Christian traditions. In medieval Europe, the cross adorned banners, stained glass windows, and even the armor of knights, symbolizing both faith and protection. Today, it remains a universal sign of hope, worn as jewelry, displayed in homes, and carried into places of worship. The cross's journey from a tool of death to a beacon of life is a powerful reminder of how symbols can transcend their origins to become timeless expressions of belief. Similarly, the Islamic crescent moon and star have undergone a fascinating evolution. While the crescent is often associated with Islam today, its origins lie in pre-Islamic cultures where it symbolized celestial forces and divine protection. When the Ottoman Empire adopted the crescent as its emblem, it became closely tied to Islamic identity, appearing on flags, coins, and architecture. Over time, the crescent and star came to represent not just a political empire but the spiritual ideals of Islam: guidance, enlightenment, and the eternal light of Allah. Today, the crescent remains a unifying symbol for Muslims worldwide, adorning mosques, flags, and religious art, while also serving as a reminder of the faith's deep connection to the cosmos. The Buddhist Dharma wheel, or Dharma chakra, offers another striking example of evolution. This ancient symbol, representing the Buddha's teachings and the path to enlightenment, dates back to the earliest days of Buddhism. Its 8 spokes symbolize the Noble Eightfold Path, a guide to ethical living and spiritual awakening. Over centuries, as Buddhism spread across Asia, the Dharma wheel took on new forms and meanings. In Tibetan Buddhism, it became intertwined with the concept of cyclical existence, while in Zen traditions, it symbolized the dynamic interplay of wisdom and compassion. Today, the Dharma wheel continues to inspire, appearing in temples, meditation spaces, and even modern art, a reminder of Buddhism's timeless wisdom and adaptability. What makes these symbols so enduring is their ability to evolve without losing their essence. They are not static, they grow and adapt, reflecting the changing needs and understandings of the communities that embrace them. The Christian cross, the Islamic crescent, and the Buddhist Dharma wheel are more than just religious icons. They are living symbols imbued with the hopes, fears, and aspirations of countless generations. But the power of symbols doesn't end with ancient traditions. In modern spirituality, symbols continue to play a vital role, bridging the gap between the old and the new. The peace sign, for instance, emerged in the mid-20th century as a symbol of anti-war movements, but has since become a universal emblem of harmony and unity. Similarly, the Yin-Yang symbol, rooted in ancient Chinese philosophy, has found new relevance in global wellness practices, representing balance and interconnectedness. Even in the digital age, emojis like the lotus flower or the arm symbol have become modern-day talismans, carrying spiritual meaning into the virtual world. This ongoing evolution reminds us that symbols are not relics of the past, they are living, breathing expressions of our shared humanity. They adapt, transform, and resonate across time, offering a bridge between the ancient and the contemporary, the sacred and the everyday. As we continue to create and reinterpret symbols, we carry forward a timeless tradition, one that speaks to our deepest yearnings for meaning, connection, and transcendence. And in this ever-changing world, perhaps that is their greatest power of all. Why do certain symbols, even those from cultures and times far removed from our own, stir something deep within us? It's as if they speak a language we instinctively understand, one that bypasses the mind and touches the soul. This phenomenon lies at the heart of the psychology of divine symbols, a fascinating intersection of spirituality, culture, and the human psyche. From the sweeping arches of Gothic cathedrals to the intricate mandalas of Tibetan Buddhism, these symbols have the power to evoke awe, reverence, and a profound sense of connection to something greater than ourselves. But what is it about these images that resonates so deeply? To answer this, we turn to the work of Carl Jung, one of the pioneers of modern psychology, who introduced the concept of archetypes and the collective unconscious. Jung believed that the human mind is not a blank slate but is instead shaped by universal, shared patterns of thought and imagery. These archetypes, as he called them, are like psychic blueprints that appear across cultures and time periods in myths, dreams, and symbols. The Tree of Life, for example, appears in countless traditions from the Kabbalah to Norse mythology as a symbol of growth, interconnectedness, and the divine order. Jung argued that such symbols are not arbitrary. They emerge from the collective unconscious, a deep layer of the psyche shared by all humanity. When we encounter these symbols, whether in a sacred text, a work of art, or even a dream, they tap into this shared reservoir of meaning, evoking emotions and insights that feel both personal and universal. Consider the mandala, a circular design often used in Hindu and Buddhist traditions as a tool for meditation and spiritual growth. Jung saw the mandala as a representation of the self, a visual metaphor for the journey toward wholeness and integration. For practitioners, drawing or meditating on a mandala can be a deeply transformative experience, helping to quiet the mind and connect with the divine within. But the mandala's power isn't confined to Eastern traditions. Similar circular designs appear in Native American sand paintings, medieval Christian rose windows, and even in the natural world, the spiral of a galaxy, the rings of a tree. This cross-cultural resonance suggests that the mandala, like other divine symbols, speaks to something fundamental about the human experience. Another powerful example is the cross, which, as we've seen, evolved from a symbol of suffering to one of hope and redemption. Jung would argue that this transformation reflects a deeper psychological truth. The cross represents the union of opposites, the reconciliation of the material and the spiritual, the finite and the infinite. It's a symbol of transformation, mirroring the inner journey of the soul toward enlightenment. Across cultures, similar symbols, like the Yin-Yang or the Ouroboros, also embody this idea of balance and unity, suggesting that the human psyche is drawn to images that reflect its own quest for harmony. But the impact of divine symbols goes beyond individual psychology. They also serve as a kind of universal language, a way for people to connect across time, culture, and even belief systems. Take the lotus, for instance. In Hinduism and Buddhism, it symbolizes purity and enlightenment, rising untainted from muddy waters. In ancient Egypt, the lotus represented creation and rebirth, linked to the sun god Ra. Despite these cultural differences, the underlying message is the same. Out of struggle and darkness comes beauty and light. This shared symbolism suggests that, at their core, all spiritual traditions are grappling with the same fundamental questions about life, death, meaning, and transcendence. Jung's theories help us understand why divine symbols have such a lasting impact. They are not just relics of the past or artifacts of faith. They are mirrors of the soul, reflecting our deepest hopes, fears, and aspirations. They remind us that, no matter how different our cultures or beliefs may seem, we are all part of a shared human story, one that seeks to make sense of the mysteries of existence. And in this way, symbols become more than just images. They become a universal language of the soul, a bridge between the individual and the infinite, the temporal and the eternal. As we continue to explore the mysteries of divine symbols, we'll see how this universal language has shaped not only our spiritual traditions but also our art, our architecture, and even our dreams. They are not just windows into the past, they are keys to understanding ourselves and our place in the cosmos. And perhaps in their timeless wisdom, we can find new ways to connect, not only with the divine but with one another. In today's world, where technology and tradition often collide, ancient divine symbols have found new life, weaving their way into modern art, literature, and pop culture. These timeless emblems, once etched into temple walls or carved into sacred stones, now appear in blockbuster films, contemporary design, and even as personal expressions of faith and identity. Take, for instance, the enduring fascination with Egyptian symbols. The Eye of Horus, a powerful emblem of protection and healing, has become a recurring motif in movies like The Mummy and Stargate. Its presence on the big screen isn't just about aesthetics. It taps into a deep cultural memory, reminding audiences of a civilization that saw the divine in every aspect of life. These modern adaptations don't just entertain, they invite viewers to explore the mysteries of the past, sparking curiosity about the symbol's origins and meanings. Sacred geometry, too, has experienced a resurgence, particularly in the worlds of architecture and design. The intricate patterns of the flower of life or the golden ratio, once reserved for ancient temples, now inspire everything from skyscrapers to smartphone interfaces. Architects and designers draw on these principles to create spaces and products that feel harmonious and balanced, tapping into a universal sense of beauty and order. For example, the spiraling design of the Guggenheim Museum in New York echoes the Fibonacci sequence, a mathematical pattern found in nature and revered by ancient cultures. This blending of the ancient and the modern shows how timeless these symbols are, bridging the gap between the sacred and the everyday. Perhaps one of the most personal ways these symbols have been reinterpreted is through spiritual tattoos. From the Om symbol to the Hamsa hand, people around the world are choosing to carry sacred symbols on their skin as permanent reminders of their beliefs and values. These tattoos are more than just body art, they're deeply personal expressions of identity and connection to the divine. For some, a mandala tattoo represents inner peace and spiritual growth, while for others, a Celtic knot symbolizes the interconnectedness of life. This trend highlights a growing desire to integrate ancient wisdom into modern life, turning the body itself into a canvas for sacred storytelling. Even in literature, divine symbols continue to inspire. Authors like Dan Brown have woven them into gripping narratives as seen in the Da Vinci Code, where the Fibonacci sequence and the rose line play central roles in unraveling a centuries-old mystery. These stories don't just entertain, they invite readers to ponder the deeper meanings behind the symbols, sparking conversations about spirituality, history, and the human quest for understanding. Similarly, in fantasy literature, symbols like the Tree of Life or the Ouroboros often appear as metaphors for the cyclical nature of existence, the balance of opposites, or the journey toward enlightenment. What makes these modern interpretations so compelling is their ability to connect us to the past while speaking to our present experiences. They remind us that the symbols our ancestors revered are not relics of a bygone era but living, evolving expressions of timeless truth. Whether on a movie screen, a building, or a tattooed arm, these symbols continue to inspire creativity and spiritual exploration, proving that their power transcends time and culture. As we embrace these ancient symbols in new ways, we carry forward a legacy of meaning, ensuring that their wisdom remains relevant in an ever-changing world. This seamless blending of the old and the new shows just how adaptable these symbols are. They are not static, they evolve, taking on new meanings while retaining their essence. In doing so, they remind us that the search for connection, meaning, and beauty is a universal human endeavor, one that continues to shape our art, our stories, and our lives. As we look to the future, it's clear that these ancient symbols will remain a source of inspiration, guiding us as we navigate the complexities of modern existence and seek to understand our place in the cosmos. Throughout history, divine symbols have been revered as bridges to the sacred, but they have also sparked controversy and conflict. These powerful images, once meant to inspire and protect, have sometimes been misunderstood, misused, or even weaponized, turning them into sources of division rather than unity. One of the most striking examples of this transformation is the swastika, a symbol that has carried vastly different meanings across cultures and eras. In ancient India, the swastika was a sacred emblem of well-being and prosperity, its four arms representing the eternal cycle of life and the harmony of the cosmos. Yet, in the 20th century, it became synonymous with hatred and oppression, adopted by the Nazi regime as a symbol of their ideology. This dramatic shift illustrates how a symbol's meaning can be profoundly altered by context, intent, and interpretation. The swastika's story raises important questions about cultural appropriation, the act of taking symbols, rituals, or practices from one culture and using them in ways that distort or disregard their original meaning. For instance, the Hamsa hand, a symbol of protection in Middle Eastern and North African cultures, has become a popular design in Western fashion and jewelry. While some wear it as a sign of respect or spiritual connection, others may use it without understanding its cultural and religious significance. This can lead to a sense of erasure or disrespect among those for whom the symbol holds deep meaning. The challenge lies in finding a balance between appreciation and appropriation, ensuring that sacred symbols are honored for their roots and not reduced to mere trends. Misinterpretation is another issue that has plagued divine symbols. Take the pentagram, for example. In ancient times, it was a symbol of protection and balance, its 5 points representing the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. However, in modern popular culture, it has often been misrepresented as a sign of evil or dark magic, particularly in horror movies and sensationalized media. This distortion not only misleads people about the symbol's true meaning, but also perpetuates stereotypes and fear. Similarly, the arm symbol, central to Hinduism and Buddhism, is sometimes used in commercial contexts or as a generic spiritual icon, stripping it of its profound connection to meditation, enlightenment, and the divine. These controversies highlight the importance of understanding the context and history behind divine symbols. They are not static, their meanings evolve with the cultures that embrace them. What begins as a sacred emblem in one tradition can take on entirely new connotations in another. This duality makes symbols a double-edged sword capable of inspiring unity and reverence, but also division and harm. The key lies in education and dialogue. By learning about the origins and significance of these symbols, we can foster greater respect and appreciation for the cultures that created them, while also addressing the harm caused by their misuse. At the same time, these debates remind us of the power symbols hold. They are not just images, they are vessels of meaning carrying the hopes, fears, and values of the people who use them. This power makes them vulnerable to manipulation, but it also gives them the potential to heal and unite. In a world where symbols can divide as easily as they connect, it's up to us to approach them with care, curiosity, and respect. By doing so, we can ensure that these ancient emblems continue to inspire and guide us, rather than becoming tools of misunderstanding or conflict. And as we navigate the complexities of their use, we'll see how these symbols can still serve as bridges, not just to the divine, but to one another. What is it about a simple image or shape that can evoke such profound emotions, inspire devotion, or even alter the way we perceive the world? While divine symbols have long been regarded as spiritual tools, science offers its own fascinating explanations for their enduring power. At the heart of this intersection lies the human brain, a complex organ wired to seek patterns, meaning, and connection. Studies in neuroscience reveal that when we encounter symbols, whether it's the cross, the arm, or the mandala, our brains don't just process them as visual stimuli. They activate areas associated with memory, emotion, and even spirituality. For example, research has shown that viewing religious symbols can trigger the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to feelings of pleasure and reward. This suggests that symbols aren't just abstract concepts. They have a tangible, physiological impact on us, shaping our thoughts and behaviors in ways we're only beginning to understand. Delving deeper, the field of semiotics, the study of signs and symbols, helps us decode why certain images carry such universal resonance. Semioticians argue that symbols function as a kind of shorthand, condensing complex ideas into simple, recognizable forms. The Ankh, for instance, isn't just a looped cross, it's a distillation of life, death, and the eternal. This ability to convey layers of meaning in a single image makes symbols incredibly efficient tools for communication, transcending language barriers and cultural divide. But it's not just about efficiency, it's about connection. Symbols tap into our innate desire to make sense of the world, offering a framework for understanding the intangible and the infinite. Psychology also plays a crucial role in unraveling the power of symbols. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests that certain symbols resonate because they reflect universal archetypes, shared patterns of thought and imagery that are hardwired into the human psyche. The Tree of Life, appearing in traditions from the Kabbalah to Norse mythology, isn't just a random image. It's a reflection of humanity's quest for growth, connection, and transcendence. Modern psychology builds on this idea, exploring how symbols can serve as tools for healing and transformation. For instance, mandalas are often used in art therapy to help individuals process emotions, reduce stress, and achieve a sense of inner balance. This merging of ancient symbolism and contemporary science highlights the timeless relevance of these images in our lives. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of divine symbols is their ability to bridge the gap between science and spirituality. While science seeks to explain the world through observation and evidence, spirituality often deals with the intangible and the unseen. Symbols, with their dual capacity to evoke both emotional and cognitive responses, offer a unique meeting point for these two realms. Consider the golden ratio, a mathematical proportion found in nature and revered by ancient cultures as a divine principle. Modern science confirms that this ratio appears in everything from the spiral of a galaxy to the structure of DNA, suggesting a kind of cosmic harmony that resonates with both spiritual and scientific perspectives. This interplay between the measurable and the mystical invites us to see symbols not as relics of superstition, but as windows into the deeper truths of existence. As we explore the science behind divine symbols, we begin to see them as more than just artifacts of faith. They are tools for understanding, connection, and transformation, grounded in both the workings of the human mind and the mysteries of the universe. This intersection of science and spirituality invites us to reconsider the role of symbols in our lives, not as static relics of the past, but as dynamic forces that continue to shape our understanding of the world. By embracing both the empirical and the mystical, we can unlock new ways to connect with the divine, the cosmos, and ultimately with ourselves. And in this fusion of knowledge and wonder, we find a deeper appreciation for the timeless power of symbols to illuminate the human experience. As we stand on the brink of a new era where technology reshapes how we live, communicate, and even think, what role will divine symbols play in our increasingly digital and globalized world? The answer lies not in the past, but in the boundless possibilities of the future. Imagine stepping into a virtual reality temple where sacred symbols aren't just images on a screen but immersive experiences. A mandala might pulse with light, its intricate patterns shifting as you meditate, or a cross could appear in 3 dimensions, its beams extending infinitely into a digital sky. Virtual reality and augmented reality have the potential to revolutionize how we interact with these ancient emblems, transforming them from static images into dynamic, living expressions of the divine. This isn't just about technology, it's about reimagining how we connect with the sacred in a world where the boundaries between the physical and the virtual are blurring. Artificial intelligence, too, is poised to influence the creation and interpretation of symbols. Already, AI algorithms are being used to analyze ancient texts and artworks, uncovering hidden meanings and connections that might have eluded human scholars for centuries. But what if AI could go further, generating new symbols that resonate with contemporary spiritual needs? Picture an AI-designed emblem that combines elements of the Yin-Yang, the tree of life, and the flower of life, creating a universal symbol for peace and interconnectedness. While some might argue that symbols lose their authenticity when created by machines, others see this as an opportunity to evolve, blending ancient wisdom with modern innovation to meet the challenges of our time. Yet, as technology advances, so too do the questions it raises. How do we ensure that these new symbols remain rooted in meaning, rather than becoming hollow trends or marketing tools? The answer may lie in collaboration between technologists, artists, and spiritual leaders to create symbols that are both innovative and deeply meaningful. For example, digital artists might work with indigenous communities to reinterpret traditional symbols in ways that honor their origins while making them accessible to a global audience. This fusion of tradition and technology could give rise to a new language of the sacred, one that speaks to the complexities of our interconnected world. At the same time, the rise of globalization presents both challenges and opportunities for divine symbols. As cultures blend and borders fade, symbols that once belonged to specific traditions are now being adopted and adapted by people around the world. The arm symbol, for instance, has become a global emblem of mindfulness and spiritual connection, transcending its Hindu and Buddhist roots. While this can foster understanding and unity, it also raises questions about cultural appropriation and the loss of context. How do we honor the origins of these symbols while allowing them to evolve in response to new spiritual landscapes? The key may lie in education and dialogue, ensuring that as symbols spread, their stories and meanings travel with them. Looking ahead, it's clear that divine symbols will continue to evolve, shaped by the forces of technology, globalization, and the ever-changing needs of humanity. But at their core, they will remain what they have always been, expressions of our deepest hopes, fears, and aspirations. Whether carved into stone or rendered in pixels, these symbols are a testament to humanity's enduring quest for meaning and connection. They remind us that, even in a world of rapid change, the search for the divine is a timeless journey, one that transcends cultures, technologies, and generations. And as we navigate the complexities of the future, these symbols will continue to guide us, offering a bridge between the ancient and the modern, the tangible and the infinite, the human and the divine. Divine symbols aren't just relics of the past, they're living tools that can bring meaning, mindfulness, and inspiration into our modern lives. Whether you're looking to deepen your spiritual practice, create a more harmonious living space, or simply find a sense of calm in a hectic world, these ancient emblems offer practical ways to connect with something greater. Let's explore how you can weave the power of divine symbols into your daily routine. One of the most accessible ways to incorporate symbols into your life is through meditation. For centuries, practitioners have used symbols like the mandala or the arm to focus their minds and elevate their spiritual practice. Start by choosing a symbol that resonates with you, perhaps the calming symmetry of a mandala or the grounding energy of the tree of life. Place an image of the symbol in front of you as you meditate, allowing its form to guide your thoughts and intentions. Visualize its meaning as you breathe deeply, letting it serve as a focal point for your inner journey. This simple practice can help quiet the mind, reduce stress, and open the door to deeper self-awareness. If you're looking to bring a sense of sacredness into your home, consider incorporating divine symbols into your decor. A piece of wall art featuring the Eye of Horus can serve as a powerful reminder of protection and resilience, while a small statue of the Buddha surrounded by lotus symbols can create a serene atmosphere in any room. Even subtle touches like a throw pillow embroidered with the Hamsa hand or a candle holder shaped like the Yin-Yang can infuse your space with positive energy. The key is to choose symbols that speak to you personally, creating an environment that feels both inspiring and grounding. For those interested in personal growth, symbols can also serve as daily reminders of your goals and values. Wearing jewelry adorned with sacred emblems such as a pendant of the Ankh or a ring engraved with the Dharma wheel can keep you connected to their meanings throughout the day. Every time you glance at your wrist or touch the pendant around your neck, you're reminded of the qualities you aspire to embody: balance, resilience, or spiritual enlightenment. It's a small but powerful way to stay aligned with your intentions, no matter where life takes you. If you're eager to dive deeper, there are countless resources to help you explore the meanings and histories of these symbols. Books like the Book of Symbols or Sacred Symbols of the World offer rich insights into their origins and significance. Online courses and workshops can provide guided instruction on how to use symbols in meditation, art, or ritual. And for a more hands-on approach, consider visiting cultural exhibits or sacred sites where these symbols are prominently displayed. These experiences can deepen your understanding and appreciation, bringing the stories behind the symbols to life. The beauty of divine symbols lies in their versatility. They can be as simple or as profound as you need them to be, whether you're sketching a mandala in a journal, lighting a candle in front of a sacred emblem, or simply reflecting on the meaning of a symbol during a quiet moment. The act of engaging with these symbols in whatever form feels right to you can spark a sense of connection, creativity, and calm. So why not take a moment to explore the symbols that resonate with you? Whether you're drawn to the intricate geometry of the flower of life, the timeless wisdom of the cross, or the peaceful energy of the lotus, there's a symbol out there that can speak to your heart. By integrating these ancient emblems into your life, you're not just honoring their history, you're creating your own sacred story, one that bridges the past and the present, the earthly and the divine. And in doing so, you might just discover a deeper sense of purpose, connection, and peace along the way. As we come to the end of this journey through the world of divine symbols, it's clear that these ancient emblems are far more than just relics of the past. They are living threads woven into the fabric of human history, spirituality, and culture. From the earliest cave paintings to the towering spires of modern architecture, symbols have been a universal language, a way for humanity to reach beyond the visible and touch the infinite. They've guided kings and commoners alike, offering protection, wisdom, and a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves. What makes these symbols so enduring is their ability to transcend time and culture. Whether it's the Ankh of ancient Egypt, the mandala of Hindu and Buddhist traditions, or the cross of Christianity, each symbol carries a story, a message that speaks to the heart of what it means to be human. They remind us that despite our differences, we share a common quest for meaning, for understanding, and for connection to the divine. These symbols have shaped civilizations, inspired art and architecture, and provided solace and strength in times of uncertainty. They are not just artifacts of faith, they are mirrors of the human soul, reflecting our deepest hopes, fears, and aspirations. As we've seen, the power of divine symbols lies not just in their beauty or intricacy, but in their ability to communicate profound truths across generations. They've evolved with us, adapting to new contexts and technologies, yet always retaining their essence. In a world that often feels fragmented and fast-paced, these symbols offer a sense of continuity, a reminder that we are part of a larger story, one that stretches back to the dawn of humanity and forward into the unknown. To close, let's reflect on the words of the philosopher and mystic Plotinus. The soul becomes what it contemplates. When we engage with divine symbols, whether through meditation, art, or simply quiet reflection, we open ourselves to their transformative power. We become part of the timeless conversation between the mortal and the divine, the earthly and the eternal. And in doing so, we discover not just the mysteries of the universe, but the mysteries within ourselves. If this exploration of divine symbols has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to dive deeper. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What symbols resonate with you and why? And if you'd like to continue uncovering the secrets of history and spirituality, don't forget to subscribe and join me on this journey of discovery. Together, let's keep exploring the mysteries that connect us across time, culture, and belief. Thank you for watching, and until next time, may the wisdom of the ages guide your path.